All right, everyone.
How's everybody doing? Hope y'all doing all right.
Yeah, this is John and Rob with Co-Anglers Corner. Tonight we have a very special guest. She's a professional fisherman on the Ladies Bass Angler Association Tour, also known as the LBAA. Miss Pam Horne. We'll bring her on in a minute. So, Rob, how's the weather down there?
It was good today. A little dreary, but we're getting a storm rolling in. I know I talked to some friends and family down in South Mississippi and Louisiana, and getting pretty hairy down there. 50, 60 mile an hour winds, a little bit of hail, a lot of rain. So it's heading up my way tomorrow night. So I'm ready.
All right. Well, have fun. I just had about 6 inches of snow, but I mean, that's nothing for up here. We're used to it.
Oh, yeah. That was like normal day with you guys.
All right. Well, let's bring on Miss Pam. All right.
All right.
So here she is, Pam Horne. Hello, Pam. How are you tonight? All right. What's going on with my screen here? There we go. Oh, no, I don't want that.
There we go.
All right, Pam. Well, welcome to the show. I think you're muted, Pam. Huh. How you doing? Oh, she was. No, you're still muted for some reason. I'm not sure what's going on. Are you getting anything, Rob?
No.
Okay.
That's how it goes. It works perfect while ago, and then
yeah, it was. So we'll have to try to figure something out. No, I think if you want, Pam, go out and come back in. Maybe that'll work. So there we go. Yeah. We're going to see if that'll work for her.
Because that's funny. It worked perfect right before we got on.
Yeah, right before the show came on, and it's like, all right, don't know what happened, but no.
It happens.
Yeah, we'll figure it out sooner or later.
The joys of being alive.
Yes. Nothing we can do about it, right?
Yep. Hey, we'll get her figured out. We'll get on track here.
100%.
Yep. But real quick, guys, I won't be at the East Tennessee Fishing Show here in Knoxville, Tennessee. I think it's January 25th to 28th. So I'll be walking around and doing some quick videos. So if you see me, stop me, shake my hand, say hello. Great show. Always a great show.
Yes. Yeah, that's one show. Once I get stuff straightened around with my cold tags and make sure everything's going good, I'm going to be attending that show.
Yeah, it's a great one. Great.
All right, we have Pam back, so we'll see what we can do.
All right.
Hello, Pam.
I'm here.
Oh, there we go. We got you now.
All right.
Perfect.
All right. So, no, we were just talking about the weather and how Rob's enjoying his weather and I'm enjoying mine. How about you? You enjoying the weather down there?
I'm not enjoying mine, no. We've had rain and 40-mile-an-hour winds all day today.
Oh,
not good.
The snow's supposed to start early in the morning, so we shall see.
Gotcha.
Well, luck. If you want, you can always come up to my place. I mean, we don't have the wind or the snow or the rain, but we do have a couple inches of snow.
I'm going to make it up that way one day.
Hey, you always got a place to stay. So, all right. So, for those who missed the introduction, this is Pam Horne. She's a professional fisherman on the Ladies Bass Anglers Association. She had a pretty good season last year. She's also with the Northwest Arkansas Bassmasters. So I'll let Pam talk about a little bit about her fishing history and what brings her into the LBAA and what her plans are for this year.
Well, in 2018, I believe it was, Bull Shoals Lake is not far from my house. It's probably about 2 hours from my house. And that was actually the first lake that I fished when I moved to Arkansas in 2015. And we were driving to the lake one day, and there's a little small, I wouldn't call it a hotel, wouldn't call it a motel. It's just some rooms. And when we drove by there, I saw a truck sitting there that had the Lady Bass Anglers Association on it. Never heard of them before. Never seen anything about them anywhere. But seeing that truck that day, just it kindled something in me. That just it started a passion. I wanted to fish with the Lady Bass Anglers, and that was in 2018. And I didn't see anything online about the tournament. I did everywhere we went on the lake that day. I was looking to see if there was ladies in the boat. It just started something in me that I was inquisitive about it, but I didn't know where to research about it. I didn't know where to look anything about it up or anything. And when I moved to Arkansas, I started fishing with the club here. It's Northwest Arkansas Bassmasters, and I joined the club because my brother, Harvey Horne, was the president at the time. And I'd fished a little bit in the club in Louisiana and fished with my son just to spend some quality time with him as a mother and son. And when I moved up here and I started fishing with the club up here, it's like an addiction. I mean, it's like going to the casino to me. I mean, you go pay $50 and hope you win 200 or
Yep.
150 or something. But I got addicted to it, and I just absolutely loved it. In the first 2 years that I was here, I went as a co-angler. I had a little bitty 17-foot Ranger Cherokee aluminum boat with a 50 horsepower on the back. And after 2 years, I was like, I want to go where I want to go. I want to do what I want to do, and I'm going as a boater. And then I was doing a podcast with my brother one night, and something got mentioned about fishing with the ladies or something. And Cheryl Bowden, one of the founders of the Lady Bass Anglers, reached out to me and asked what my membership number was, and they would love to have me join. And I was like, I don't have a membership number. I don't even know anything about the Lady Bass Anglers. And she reached out to me and started messaging me, and I got signed up. And I think it was 2021 or 20. I fished their very last tournament for the season on Lake Truman, and it was really basically their last tournament, but the classic was included in it. So they fished 2 days, and then the third day was the classic. And it was kind of like I guess, a shootout for the classic. And the first day I fished and had two fish, I think, for 4 pounds and something. And the second day I didn't catch anything. And I wound up winning, I think it was fourth or fifth overall with just those two fish the first day. And I was hooked. I mean, it was just like a sisterhood. I mean, all the ladies were so nice and friendly and just welcoming, and it was an experience to me. I mean, and I got to meet Pam Martin Wells. That was the whole highlight of my whole tournament. I could have caught a 6 pound bass and that wouldn't have mattered. It was just meeting Pam Martin Wells that day that just, it kindled something else in me, just to know that a female had fished the Bassmaster Classic and done as well as she did. So she's been like an icon and an idol to me. And just to be as humble as she is and the things that she's gone through and still continues to do well, I just, I would love to spend one day with her in the boat.
There you go.
But other than that, I just fish stuff around here. I fish my club. We have another club that's in more Missouri than it is here. It's the Booger County Buddy Bass Tournament, and I usually try to fish it with a youth partner. This year I had Dante Snowden. He is a freshman, and we finished fourth overall out of 50 boats. So
Yep.
we had a pretty good year. Last year I fished with a Cohen Duncan. He's a senior this year, and I think we finished seventh last year out of 50 boats. They have a 50 boat cap, and it's just older gentlemen. We have once a month tournament. It's no mama drama, no nothing. It's just we go fish. They have a board. They set the rules. The rules are the rules. They don't bend them for anybody. We have 11 tournaments, and the December tournament is our classic. And the way they set it up is you fish on a Sunday and it's a Saturday, and the Friday afternoon before the tournament, they send you a text message telling you where the classic will be. And you have a choice of Beaver Lake, Bull Shoals, or Table Rock. So it's not like you have travel 4 or 5 hours to get somewhere. 2 hours is probably the biggest travel time that we have here, which is
Okay.
not a lot for them because they live over there. And then I fish. I'm fishing the Winter Series right now on Beaver, and I'm fishing it with Dana Carlson. She lives in Minnesota.
Yep.
And yes, she's driving down 10 hours every tournament that we've had. She had to miss this past weekend because she had to take her daughter back to school. And we have one more coming up, and then we'll have the Classic, which is a 2-day Classic. So I think we're sitting in like 20th out of 50 boats. So middle of the pack.
Can't
And
beat that.
as far as the Lady Bass Anglers, I had some high hopes for fishing with them this year. I love the schedule that they had set up. The first one would be in Toledo Bend, which is kind of like some of my down home stuff because I was transplant to Arkansas from Louisiana.
Right.
So it's on the Louisiana-Texas border. So I was looking forward to that one. And Gunnersville is a bucket list for me. And then, of course, we got Grand Lake, which is classic, and then Bull Shoals. And Bull Shoals is my favorite lake in the whole world. I don't care what lake I ever go to. Bull Shoals will always be my favorite. So, but lack of sponsorship and partnerships, I will not be able to fish with them this year. So I'm sticking close to home, and Beaver Lake is probably 30 minutes from my house, and we have so many tournaments on that lake that there's no excuse why I can't go fish a tournament there and do really well. So I'm going to do a lot of research and a lot of idle time on that lake this year. So spending a lot of time there this year.
Nice.
Gotcha.
It's nice how you're making the positive out of a negative, you know. Like you say, you know, missing some sponsorship money and stuff like that. And so now you're just saying, well, I'll just fish at home. If I can't travel, I'll stay home.
I mean, they have an elite series tournaments there. It's a solo series, and I've always wanted to fish it, but there's been travel time and all that stuff that I haven't been able to do it. So this year, I'm gonna put my foot in the fire. So I think they usually have over 50, 75 boats maybe. And if I can just hold my own with them, I mean, because these guys they've grown up on Beaver Lake. So just figuring out the hows and the whys and getting my feet wet with those guys, I feel really confident.
Nice.
Yeah.
We have a couple statements here. Says that's probably one of the best bass displays I've seen. Looks great up there with the backlighting above your head and behind you.
That's my Louisiana personal best. That was a 752.
Wow.
That's crazy. I can't imagine catching. I mean, my biggest one is 612 up here.
Well, that one, I hate going fishing by myself. I hate it. I always have, and I probably always will. And Caney Lake in Jonesboro, Louisiana,
Yep.
It's one of the lakes that the MLF had fished this year. It was still a young lake when I went fishing, and I begged my son to go fishing with me. He wouldn't stay home from school. He had a math test or something, and of all times for him to care about a math test, but he didn't. He couldn't. He couldn't stay home that day, so I begged somebody else that I worked with to go with me. Nobody could go, so I was like, I guess I'll have to go with me, go by myself. So I got out there and I had 4 fish in the live well. And at 12 o'clock straight up, I made a cast with a Rebel Rapala and threw it up right next to a stump and made about 3 twitches on it, and that one hit it. And I knew as soon as I started reeling on it that it was big.
Yep.
I just didn't realize how big. And when I got it in the boat, my knees were literally shaking. I had to take the 4 fish that I had in the live well in the front and put them in the back and put him in the front because he wouldn't fit in the back.
Right.
And I got to the marina and I was like, I don't even know how much the fish weighs. So I went in and asked the lady in there and I was like, can you weigh a fish in here? And she's like, yeah, do you have one? I was like, yes, ma'am. So I went and got it out of the live well and brought it in. She's like, holy cow, you caught that by yourself? And I was like, yes, ma'am. Well, she put it on the scales and it was 752. And at that time, I was a single mother, raising a kid in high school, worked at a prison, and just a single income. So I was like, one day I'm going to get this fish mounted. So I knew how to preserve it and keep it in the freezer and wrapped it up in newspaper and trash bags and newspaper and trash bags. I had about 3 layers on it. And probably 2 years later, my middle brother and my sister-in-law surprised me, and they stole it from my freezer and had it mounted.
Hey. That was a good surprise right there.
Yes, it was. And then they were shocked that I didn't notice it was gone. I was like, I don't do inventory on my freezer.
Nope.
I'm sorry. I don't.
You don't take it out of the freezer and pet it and put it back every day.
I never do. Never. I sure look at it a lot now, though.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome.
I'm having a hard time taking my eyes off it myself.
Yeah. That's cool display. He's right on that.
That is. Now, do you have the bait that you caught that with as well, the lure?
I do still have the same lure, yes.
Okay.
The very same.
Funny you mentioned that because I think I was like 10 or 12, my grandpa's pond, and I had a Rebel broke back minnow, and I caught a 5-pounder like right at the bank. It like scared me. It hit at the bank, and I just like run backwards, and that was my first big fish on the same kind of lure. So that's
this
awesome.
one was like I think it was the 5-inch, and it was the blue and silver, or the blue and chrome.
Yep. Yeah, this was like the actual bass, and it had the broke back, so it'd go in the water like that. And I mean, it hit right in front of me, and it scared me. But yeah, that was you never forget your fish like that. It stays with
I'll
you.
never forget that one. My son said he don't think it was a math test. Fact was, he didn't want to skip school and go fishing with his mama. So
that's
I bet he regretted it afterwards. I bet.
Maybe
a little bit.
He was more into golfing then. He was a golfer, and now he does both.
We won't hold that against him, Pam.
He golfs and duck hunts and deer hunts and fishes.
And he's a good fisherman himself too.
Oh yeah, he is pretty good.
Yeah, I remember my first fish up here over 5 pounds. I had first time I ever used a pistol grip for a worm on a Texas rig. I'll tell you what, that hurt.
Yeah,
bringing that in on a pistol, a 5.5 on a pistol grip that I wasn't used to using, and boy, that hurt.
Larry Nixon special.
What's that?
Larry Nixon special right there.
Yes, sir. It was an all-star rod.
Yep.
But no, so Pam, I just want to commend you. You do a lot of fishing with the youth, and you mentioned earlier that you always take a youth to this tournament series that you fish, the partner series. Now, most of them are grown men you're fishing against, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So you and your high school partner are fishing against all adults for the most part.
Yes.
Yeah. So if that tells you folks anything about um, how big of a heart and how much Pam cares about the future of the sport. You know, I'm sure she could find an adult to go fishing with, but she would rather teach a youngster how to fish and appreciate what is out there for them. And
Like,
good
I
job,
kind
Pam.
of look at it this way. I mean, like Dante, he was 15 and he just turned 16, and he absolutely loves fishing. He loves it. He eats, sleeps, and breathes it when he's not playing basketball or football or baseball. And he doesn't get the opportunity to go when he wants to go. His mom and dad, they work. His dad's a
Yep.
fitness trainer. His mom works for Walmart. They don't own a boat. And if he wants to go fishing on the weekend and doesn't have an opportunity, to me, if they have an opportunity, that means that they don't do something else that they shouldn't do. So that's the way I look at it. So
I hear you there.
I have a surprise for a little 10-year-old I've been boat captaining for this year in
Yeah.
the Youth Fishing Federation. He told his mom and dad this past season he didn't want to play baseball anymore and he didn't want to play basketball. And they asked him, they said, "What do you want to do?" And he said, "I just want to fish." And he absolutely loves it. He's 10 years old. He can barely throw a bait caster. He does really good with a spinning rod, but we have a team trail series that's on Beaver Lake, so I'm going to get with his dad and see about letting him fish that this year. So
Oh, he'll be
Oh,
tickled.
nice.
He'll be
they have
tickled.
a youth division. It's all adults, but they have some that fish with the youth, so he'll get, usually most of the time they get a prize at least. So
Yeah. So Barking Rugers says, Pam, anytime you want to go fishing deep in South Louisiana, you're welcome to jump on his boat.
I might
He's
take
a
him up on that.
And
he's a
Joseph's got a
big
good
fan of
boat too. He's got a heck of a boat.
he's a big fan of the
I've
show.
fished some Saline Bay and Saline Lake and Little River and Old River and stuff like that, but I've never been deep south fishing. So
Hey, to me, Gunnersville's deep south.
Yeah, yeah.
that's a bucket
No.
list, though. I'm gonna get there one day.
You
Oh,
will.
it-
I mean,
I have lots of friends in Alabama, so surely I can make a trip over there.
Oh yeah, it's
I'm
worth
sure
the
you
trip.
can.
It's worth the trip. I've been there several times. It's worth every time I go. It's like I'm a kid in the candy store with big eyes. So yeah.
Well, see, I mentioned to you a couple of weeks ago that I know somebody that knows you, and you didn't figure it out, did you?
Nope.
So I have a friend of mine. She fished with the Lady Bass Anglers. She's a traveling nurse,
Yep. I
I'm
think I
not,
know. Yep.
I'm not saying.
and she's working at a hospital here in Rogers. So she's been staying with me while she's here, and it's Nikki Jo Hatton. So
Yep.
I
Yep.
think I might can jump on the boat with her one day and go to Gunnersville. So
She'd be a good one. She knows her stuff on that lake. I guarantee you.
oh yeah,
And
she's been working nights and I work days, so we see each other in passing. But we've had a couple of times where we can get together, and make some jigs, and this, that, and the other. So we like talking fishing. So
Yep. She's good people. She's good people. I guarantee.
definitely.
and just to let you know, Pam, Nikki Joe is going to be on our show the 29th of January.
Awesome.
Yep. And I want to thank you for that. You know, because you're the one who
Definitely.
suggested her. And Pam Martin Wells, you spoke to, she's going to be on in March 4th.
She's a good conversationalist.
Oh yeah, she's been around and
She's
done.
got lots of stories to tell.
Yeah, she's. I said
We
she's
may have to
been
have
through it.
We may have to have a two or three part series on that one, right?
That
Yep.
you could do that very, very
Yeah.
it could happen.
Yeah. I mean, like you're involved with the youth. She coaches college too, so
Yeah.
yeah. But all right. So since you're staying home this year, is there any lake on the LBAA schedule that you wish you had gone to that you're not going to be able to get to?
Definitely Gunnersville.
Okay.
I'm fishing the Bass Nation regional qualifier
Yep.
And that one's, the entry fee is the same as the Lady Bass Anglers. And to me, the benefits far outweigh the travel and expense to go to Gunnersville or anywhere else. And so I got to try it. I've been to the Arkansas River before. I fished there last year as a co-angler. And this year I'll be going as a boater. So if I do well enough and I can qualify for the Nationals, and it'll be on Grand Lake. So it's only like an hour from my house. And then Muskogee, it's not, but maybe 2.5 hours, I think, from my house. So.
And Stephen Pellerin wants to let you know that you're the hammer in the Horn family.
I don't know about all that.
I think so. Now you fished the Arkansas Federation last year, right?
Yes.
Yep, and you did quite well in there.
Yeah, we qualified. I qualified. I was number 10 as a co-angler, so I got to go. That's where I got to fish the Arkansas River last year. So.
Yep.
Wow.
And then this year didn't do so well. I went as a boater, and I took a gamble, and I think I wound up maybe 25th. I think not as good as I wanted to, but the baby brother qualified, so he gets to go straight to nationals. So I'm good with that.
There you go.
And hopefully I'll do good, and I'll get to go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, you will. Rob and I think, are both fishing our state's federations next year. So maybe we can all meet up with the Nationals.
That'd be awesome.
Think people realize that, the opportunities, like our club is Bass Nation affiliated, and you go to, now the Bass has changed the format. You go to the regional qualifier, and you can go to Nationals, and you can go to the Bassmaster Classic. It's just, to say it's that easy is an understatement, but it's just 3 steps. That's all it is.
And then you can actually, if you finish in the top 2 or 3, I think, in the federation, you can go straight to the Nationals.
Yes.
Now.
Yep.
So.
Can't beat that.
Our guest tomorrow night, Michael Bell, he's a co-angler from New York, and he's going to be on, and he's won the New York State Co-Angler of the Year 2 years in a row. And so I joke with him about the only reason I'm coming out of retirement from the federation is so you don't get it 3 years.
Well, I fish the state tournament every year, and I've got 19th place like twice. I think I got 16th place, and then I was like, am I ever gonna qualify? And this past year we fished at North Fork in Mountain Home, Arkansas, and it fishes a lot like Bull Shoals. And one of the little guys in our club, Dalton Ross, he was my partner. We fished really well together, and the first day I had 2 fish, could not for the life of me catch a third fish. It was even, he was trying to help me the best he could, because he had already caught his 5 fish limit and was culling. And I'm like, just throw one at my bait and maybe I can hook it. And he's like, no. So then we were fishing a brush pile, and he's like, I'm going to throw my jig, and you throw your jig right on top of mine, and then I'm going to reel mine back in real fast. Still couldn't get a bite. And then the third day, I actually caught my limit really fast and was culling. And just luckily, I had just enough to qualify for the top 10. So
outstanding.
Congratulations. Yeah. So how did you like the Arkansas River?
I liked it. I enjoyed it. It's the partner that I had the first day, he was an Oklahoma guy.
Okay.
Very nice. I enjoyed fishing with him. We locked through, went to Kerr Lake, and that's the big trick, I think, on the Arkansas River is the locking through. We had an early takeoff, so we had an early weigh in. Our weigh in was at 2:30, and the last lock was, I think the only lock that afternoon was at 1:30, and we had a 30-minute trip from takeoff to the dam or to the lock, and then another 30 minutes from the lock to where we started fishing at. So it was impossible if we'd have made the 1:30. And him and several other guys ended up talking to the lock master, and they got them to open the locks back up at 10:30. So that gave us 45 minutes to fish when we got down there.
Oh,
And I think he ended up with maybe one fish that was almost a 4-pounder, and we had to go. So we come back through the lock. We fished a community hole that was full of bass boats, and we didn't have any luck in there. We fished another area, and I think we had maybe I think he got one more fish in there, and then we went and fished another area, and I missed the one that was over 4 pounds.
oh,
And just, I mean, he got right up next to a log. When I set the hook in the log instead of the fish. And then not 10 minutes later, I was flipping up under a big log, and I seen my line taking off. And when I set the hook on that one, he turned around and looked at me, and he was like, that one was at least a 6-pounder. And
wow.
everybody was like, on the Arkansas River, and I was like, I didn't see it, he did. So that would have been 10 pounds right there with 2 fish, and I'd have done really well. But the
Yeah.
second day, I think I wound up with 2 fish, so I didn't do very well, but I enjoyed the fishing. I mean, it was just October in our area is just a hard time of the year to fish, and I think the water was fluctuating a little bit. So, but other than that, I enjoyed it. So,
Yeah. Michael says within 3 years he sees you qualifying for the Classic.
he has high hope for his mama.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
Oh yeah.
That's my pride and joy right there.
And Barkin Rugers has a question for you. He says, what's your favorite bait or technique that just makes you happy to throw?
Got to be a spinnerbait.
There you go. That's my favorite.
I'll throw it till the water gets 40 degrees. Sometimes I'll throw it when it's 38.
Yeah,
What's
but
your
hardly
favorite
anybody
spin?
throws it anymore. So that's even better.
Growing up in Louisiana, you would think I grew up throwing it, but
Yep.
I did not throw one until I moved to Arkansas.
Oh,
I may
yeah.
have thrown one a little bit when I was younger, but once I moved to Arkansas, my first tournament on Bull Shoals, I was literally, I mean, I could not catch a fish on the spinnerbait.
Yep.
And that absolutely got me addicted. I use War Eagle spinnerbaits. I
Yep.
don't care what nobody says about them. They can say what they want to about them, but my wall is full of them in my garage.
Yeah, they are good ones. I started off fishing spinner baits this way back in the 80s when I was a teenager, and I think I had a snagless Sally. That's all we had, and we'd wear them out. I think I wore out 2 or 3 of them, I think.
Well, everybody talks about a War Eagle tearing up, and yes, they do tear up.
But
But
all of
after
them
I've
do.
got a limit of fish, I don't care what that War Eagle spinnerbait does, and
No.
usually it will get me a limit. So
Oh yeah.
I used a brand of spinnerbait years ago. Great spinnerbait, but up here, the smallmouth, probably if you caught 5 fish on the same spinnerbait, you got lucky.
Yep.
Because it would just break. The arm would break in half.
Yep.
Right at the R bend.
they'll pretty much tear them up down here. The spots and the smallies, they'll crush them. You'll have to bend the wires back out straight. And,
After about 2 or 3 times, that's about it.
oh yeah, yep.
And Barkin Rugers says that's criminal. Coming from here and throwing the spinnerbait. Come on, you gotta rep the old humdinger.
Yep. Oh, humdinger still around. Yep.
I never really did a lot of bass fishing. I did a lot of crappie fishing in Louisiana. The last few, I mean, I started bass fishing when I was younger with my grandparents and throwing rebels and big worms and stuff like that. When I moved to Arkansas, everybody was like, I was like, does anybody throw big worms or what? Because they throw crankbaits and all that. And I never did that in Louisiana.
Yep.
And they do a lot of worm fishing at night up here. So
Yep.
a lot of the stuff that I used in Louisiana gets used up here, but it gets used at night. So
Yep.
All right. Oh, I love listening to you talk, Pam, because you're so passionate about the sport. It's to me, it's just incredible.
I'll tell you a secret. I mean, It's no big secret, but I'm a recovered alcoholic, and I do say recovered. They say there's no such thing, but when God delivers you from it, you're recovered.
Absolutely.
And fishing just kind of filled that void. I mean, it's just, I mean, used to I come home and I drink. Now I come
Yep.
home and organize tackle or tile and fishing baits. But I put all that passion into the fishing, and the fishing gives it back. I mean, I get out there on the water and it's peace and tranquility, and you're just one with nature and God, and you can talk to God, and just you have a one-on-one relationship with him, and it's just my peace of mind.
Nice. Yeah. And he says again, just going to have to watch. They don't want to cure you for your fishing addiction.
Oh no, I don't want to be cured of that one.
No, that's a hard one to cure right there.
Well, we
Yeah,
have a tournament for veterans. It'll be in May on Table Rock
Yep.
Lake, and it's called Fishing for Hope. And I got involved in it a couple of years ago, and got invited to take a lady fishing. She didn't have a female partner, so they asked me to go, and it was absolutely amazing watching her in the boat. I've never had anybody sit in the back of my boat and cross their legs. She did. She oohed and awed over the brim swimming in the water, the turtles swimming in the water, the birds flying overhead. It was just like she was in another world. And I've never been so amazed at watching somebody as I was that day. Um, I think I ended up catching one fish and let her weigh it in, and you would have thought she was weighing in a 10-pound bass. I mean, she was just so proud to take it up there. And I think it was maybe 2 days after that, I had a little guy that fished in the tournament messaged me and absolutely begged to go with me the next year. So 363 days prior to the tournament, he started asking to go to the tournament with me and fish with me. And the more I got to know him and talking to him through Messenger and this, that, and other, he never would call me and he never would text me. He'd always send me a message on Facebook. And he was a ex-convict, got out, and started his own business with canines, and he does I think it's backyard canines. They do training and stuff with dogs, and he's really just up and coming with his business. His name is Trey Dawson, and I mean, for 360 days, every now and then I get a text message: should I buy this bait? Do I need to buy this bait? What kind of line do I need? What's the best rod to get? And it would just be periodically throughout the whole year until the day come of the tournament. And he was like, I'll pay for your room. I'll pay for your gas. I'll pay for the entry fee, everything. I'm going to pay for everything. And I'm like, I am a nobody. I don't know why you're so thrilled to be fishing with me. And I'll tell you what, we left out of the boat ramp in my little 17-foot Ranger Cherokee aluminum boat
Yep.
and started down the lake. And I looked over at him and he was crying. He had tears coming out of his eyes. And I was like, are you okay? And he looked at me and he said, you don't know how long I've waited for this very moment. And that did it for me. That melted my heart.
Wow, what a blessing. That's awesome.
And some of those veterans, I mean, they don't get an opportunity. Some of them don't even realize what an opportunity it is until they get out there and they have that one day. I mean, some of them have PTSD. They have all kinds of emotional problems and handicaps. And that one day they can get out on the water and have that peace and that tranquility and not have to worry about anything. And seeing them when they come in and their faces, it's rewarding to me to see something that I love so much able to give back to them like that.
And they really connect to the outdoors like that. And it really.
Oh yes.
Yep.
This year I've actually got to be I'm going to be the tournament director the tournament director that they did have, Ian Sparks. He has done it for the last, I think, 10 years or 9 years. This will be the 10th annual one. And Tron Peterson with Peterson Outdoors is actually the host for the whole thing. And he does a lot with the veterans. I mean, they have a big camp and everything that they go to. They have all kinds of hunting events, shooting events, all kinds of stuff. So he's really the title sponsor of the whole thing. So I'm looking forward to it. I've got a lot of help coming on board with me. I've got the Youth Fishing Federation. Stephen Hadaball is going to help run the tournament. My club, the Northwest Arkansas Bassmasters, and the Branson Bass Club, they're all going to help. So I've got some good ideas and something to kind of showcase the veterans more this year and get more of the public involved, hopefully. So
Outstanding.
Wow.
We wish you the best luck on that. Sound like
I
you got it.
appreciate it.
You sound like you got a good plan in place.
Oh, yeah.
Had some good mentors in for the past years as well.
Oh,
You know,
definitely.
big shout out to them.
Definitely.
Yeah. Oh, our federation every year used to do what they called take a soldier fishing, and we used to get about 100 guys from Fort Drum to come down and it didn't matter what boat you had, pontoon boat, ski boat, whatever, just get the guys out. But since COVID hit, we ended up stopping it, but I'd like to see them start that up again.
Definitely.
It's super nice. I enjoyed it so much.
Yeah. Any other questions for Pam? I know Pam. So you said your favorite bait's a spinnerbait.
Yep.
Specifically the War Eagle. Do you have anything specific that you like, a specific rod length or action, line, reel, action, or
No, I mean, you should say I have a plethora, and I use that word loosely because my brother loves to use that word.
Yep.
But if you look on the deck of my boat, and it is a plethora of rods and reels. I love ducket rods. I have several of those. I have some luge rods, and I have some luge rods and reels. I have a couple of casting rods.
I wonder where you got
also
them
have
from.
one. Huh?
I wonder where you got those cashins from.
They were all hand-me-downs, I promise you. I only have maybe 4 or 5 in there that I've actually bought over the past few years. And I mean, I have, truth be known, I have a Walmart rod that my mom and I bought for my nephew, Joseph. And I want to say it's a Lew's Crush, maybe. It's the orange rod, and it has the white reel on it. That is the absolute best jerkbait rod I've ever had in my hand. Costs $80, and I absolutely love it. I've tried to jerkbait on 4 other rods, and I cannot stand to throw it on them. But that one, I absolutely love it.
Yeah, you can't beat that.
So I'm not stuck on one rod. I mean, I'm not partnered with anybody, so I take what I can get, and I utilize them until I can't anymore. My brother just bought me, I think it was a luge reel last year, and he made me throw my old one away. It's not thrown away. It's in a box somewhere, but I'd absolutely worn it out.
Wow.
All right, Barking Rugers, back at you again. You got to run at least one ugly stick. All Louisiana natives have at least one.
Hey, I had a Black Max for forever. When I moved to Arkansas, I was still using a Black Max. When my brother talked about a $200 rod that he had in his boat, I looked at my little $59 Black Max, and I was like, it catches fish just like that one does.
Yep. Every time.
And it caught a bunch of them. It caught the 7.5 right there.
Ah, heck.
Yep.
Can't complain about that.
No.
No, but No, I didn't know because I don't throw spinnerbaits. And it's always something. I mean, we had one guy in our club, that's all he threw. And he goes, I figure if I throw it long enough, I'll get bit.
Yep.
And
Well, I have my tournaments throughout the year that usually if I do really good, when we come in, the guys are like, I guess the spinnerbait bite was good today.
Yep.
So they usually know when it's good.
yeah, okay. Let me say thank you because you and I spoke a couple of years ago. I was actually inquiring about a rain suit. And you told me, check this rain suit out. So I did. And it's the best one I've ever had, Pam. Thank you very much. So
Buck and Bass is Will George came to our club and talked to our club, and he talked all about the suit, and actually I think he made he told everybody that he'd give them like a 30% discount, and he was really just he may have had some out there like with Brandon Cobb and then several of the elites maybe, but they were just not heard of. And after he left the club, I contacted him and I was like, look, I said, I don't need any rain gear. I've got some rain gear that works. I said, but if there's anything I can do to help you to promote it and get your feet off the ground or whatever, I said, I'd love to help you. And he's like, what size rain gear do you think you need? And he sent me the rain gear. And from then, I mean, when I got it, I was like, oh, I mean, I love fishing in the rain, but I don't like getting wet.
Yep.
And I mean, I hate going fishing when it's raining. I don't mind if it starts raining when I get out there, but I hate going to the lake when it's raining. And since I've got that rain gear, bring it on. I don't care. I know I'm leaving the lake dry as a bone. We fished Caddo Lake.
Yep.
I think it was the year before last. And the first day, I mean, there were tornado winds and stuff. There was actually tornadoes that touched down on parts of the lake. When I got the boat out of the water and was walking toward the weigh-in trailer, I mean, it was literally almost taking me off my feet. And one of the little girls I fished with, Whitney Cook, she come up to me and she's like, all right, unzip that raincoat. I need to see what all the hoopla's about. And I'm like, I'm telling you, I said, I'm dry. And I unzipped it and took my bibs off. And she was like, you don't have a wet spot on you. And I was like, I told you. I mean, lifetime warranty. Yes, they cost a lot. And people look at that and they're like, oh my God, I can't do that. But I mean, you pay $400, $500, $600 for a 200-mile-an-hour suit. And in a few years, you're going to have to buy another one. With Buck and Bass, you have a lifetime warranty. You buy one and you'll never buy another one.
Staying dry is priceless. I agree
tell
with
you,
you.
I mean, cold and wet, I can't stand.
Yep.
And wearing that, I can wear I got the reservoir rain gear and I've got the jacket to go with it. And I wear that jacket with a sweat hood. Sometimes I wear it with just a t-shirt under it and it's 30 degrees.
Wow.
But it's good stuff.
Fish WFT says, thank you, Pam, for being a guest and promoting fishing.
Well, I appreciate that.
So, yeah. We're at if there's anyone else that has any more questions, please throw them up there. We're going to be winding this down here in a few minutes. And Pam, this is a point of the show where I'd like to give you a chance to do all your shout outs, sponsors or anything.
Well, I'll do this. I know there's been a lot of talk about female in fishing, and I should have said this earlier, but and people have been asking questions about how can we get more females involved and highlighting females. And I actually this quote has stayed in my brain for I don't know, a couple of months. And I think it was Denzel Washington talked about prejudiceness. And he's like, prejudiceness will go away when you stop calling me a black man and I stop calling you a white man. And to me, it's the same thing with females in fishing. When we stop segregating ourselves as females and just go fishing, I think that's when it will get a lot better. Um, we have young girls going through high school and they get on social media, and what are they seeing? They're seeing ladies that are half dressed. I'm sure they may be good fishermen, I don't know, but that's what's being showcased on social media. And like, um, you I know ladies that chew tobacco and carry a purse. I know ladies that wire their own boats, but they're not highlighting everything on social media. And we need to promote each other. Um, uh, like me, I mean, I love fishing with youth. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I don't post an everyday or an occasional picture of a youth partner and say, look what I did. I'm fishing with a youth partner. I do it all the time. That's me. That's what I represent, and that's who I am. I'm not representing anything that I'm not anytime I get on social media. I don't pretend to be anybody else. I don't pretend to be the blonde bass lady or whatever on social media. I'm just me. I love fishing, and I'm gonna fish and promote fishing in a way that I want other people to join in. I mean, I know what it does for me, and I want it to do the same thing for other people. I'm not all about me. I'm about fishing, and I'm about helping other people be about fishing. And that I think when we get our priorities straight and decide that we're going to promote each other, I think it will get a lot better. I mean, just like Pam Martin Wells, I mean, she's fished the Bassmaster Classic. Does she go around blurting it out all over social media? No, I mean, she is what she is. She stands for exactly what she is. And she doesn't pretend to be anybody else. I mean, she doesn't use that for clout or anything else. Everybody knows who she is. They know that she's not representing something that she's not. And I think we have a lot of examples on social media that are representing something that they're not. And I think more of us need to get on social media and promote ourselves as to what we stand for, what we believe in, and what we're passionate about. So
At Barking Rugers, that was it's called the Buck and Bass. Okay, he asked what rain suit you were talking about, and
yes,
yeah, Buck and Bass, and keep being you, Pam. The industry needs more people with your passion. I 100% agree. And then another thing, Barking Rugers said you aren't wrong. They took Jesus out of schools, but then they hand out Bibles in prison. Seems like they got it backwards.
there you go.
Yep.
Yeah. So, all right. So, is there any companies you want to give a shout out to, or?
Well, definitely my brother, my baby brother, Harvey Horne, and my sister-in-law, Rhonda Horne. They help me out when they can. My baby brother's always there with a plethora of fishing knowledge. Some of it is worthless. Some of it is very rewarding. Um, my mom, who just moved back to Louisiana recently, and my son and my grandchildren and my daughter-in-law. Um, I have actually one partner that I'm going to be doing a lot more work with, and that's Hook, Line, and Sinker. It's our bait shop here locally. These Aaron Stanfield and Nick Gann, they do so much for so many tournaments on Beaver Lake and local tournaments. They help the youth out. They're all the time donating stuff for the tournaments and stuff. They go over and above every time there's a tournament on Beaver, and I appreciate them so much. They've worked with me for the past couple of years, and hopefully in the near future I'll be doing a little bit more with them. And then I have Legacy Tackle Company. It's actually Mark Shelton, and he started the company. It's a little small shop, a bait shop, up toward Table Rock, but he's actually got an online store now. It's legacytacklecompany.com, and you can go on there. He's got every kind of Japanese bait you can think of. They're hard to get, hard to get colors. He has tungsten weights that's actually real tungsten. They got the anodized, and it's a lot more economical because he's able to get it pretty cheap, and it's good stuff. I mean, I've got 3/4 ounce weights that I've had on for 2 or 3 fishing trips, and they're still just as good as they were when they come out of the package.
Nice.
He's got lots of glide baits that are hard to get. He's doing a lot of trading back and forth with some used glide baits for some different glide baits. I mean, he's really working with a lot of companies and a lot of people from all over the United States so far. So,
All right. Thank you very much. Oh, I have to ask you this question. My wife will make me sleep on the couch if I don't. What's your
chocolate
favorite
chip
cookie?
cookies with pecans and walnuts.
She knows. She knows.
It's as though you knew that question was coming.
Yep.
She was ahead of you, John. She's ahead of you.
Hey, she's one smart cookie, I'll tell you.
Yep, I'd agree with that.
All right.
And one day I'm gonna have some of Miss Candace's cookies. So
Yeah. Where can people get you at on social media?
oh Lord, I've got my Facebook page, it's Pam Horne, and then I've got P3 Fishing for Life. I've got Instagram, that's K9JunoPGH at yahoo.com, and then I've got a TikTok channel that I've been doing some little bit of shows with. So I enjoy doing some little clips and stuff with the youth and our tournaments. And then I'm starting to do some footage. I've got a Tacticam. It's kind of like it's a good camera. I've always
Yep.
wanted like a name brand in my boat, and I actually run across these, and they take really good pictures and really good videos, and they're good stuff. So I've actually got a good picture or good video of Dana when she caught a nice fish over at one of our hot lakes. So.
Nice. Carly says that she really wants to go to Legacy Tackle Company.
Go check them out. I promise you, you'll stay in there for hours, and it's a little bitty place. So
Yeah, and she's going to be on our show here in a couple months as well.
yeah, I saw one of her videos this morning. She's an up and coming little hammer too.
Yes, she is.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Pam. Have a good night. I appreciate everything you've done for the sport, for the youth, and to educate us adults as well.
Hey, I appreciate y'all having me.
All right.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
All right.
All right. All right. Thank you very much. You take care, Pam.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right. Bye. Ooh, we don't want to do that. There we go.
There we go.
All right. Anything else you want to talk about, Rob?
No, I mean, you talk about passion for the sport and helping veterans and sharing the love of sport with the kids and the youth. I mean, she covers all the bases. She's awesome.
100%, 100%. Well, I just want to before we head out of here, I just want to say thank you all for tuning in. We do have a TikTok. We are breaking our shows down a little bit so you can get some smaller sample sizes of what we got going on. Tomorrow's guest is Michael Bell with the New York State Bass Federation, 2-time co-angler of the year. Don't know what else to say about him. Nice guy. I traveled with him a little bit, know him a little bit. He's from up here in New York where I am. But outside of that, I don't have anything else.
Appreciate you all tuning in, and see you next time.
All right. See you tomorrow, guys. Take care. Okay.